Okay, so let me go ahead and mute this at the light. All right. So I think people I'm hearing a lot of things about the I guess Rick Ross was offended when he went to he got offended when he got disrespected when he went to Canada. Which is, one of the things that comes with dissing people on record when you're in the industry, because people have diehard fans, people have street teams, people have affiliations, and the affiliations, they want to see their artists. Their artists is like their superheroes. Some people's artists is like their, it's their paycheck. Some people's artists is like, is like their savior type thing. Whatever the situation. But here's the thing that is fact. The bigger artist usually has the bigger team. You see? So I think a lot of people have gotten it confused with Drake in these celebrity battles. These celebrity battles are what they are. They're celebrity battles. They don't show you the clout, the real clout, because see, you can get on record and say anything. So speaking to the fact that Rick Ross had some trouble in Canada, I mean, that's to be expected when you're somebody. I mean, if you're somebody like Rick Ross, I would think that would be something that would be expected. Considering I listen to a lot of Rick Ross music, so considering the things he writes, he sounds like he's a general when he writes. So if you're a general, then you already know if you disrespect somebody and then you go to their territory, then you should expect problems, right? I think a lot of people underestimate Drake because he is he's the artist for the women type thing, right? He makes a lot of tracks catering to women, and he has the biggest woman fan base. So I think they get it twisted. They forget the teams he's affiliated with. They forget that he's affiliated with and his partners are Cash Money. And they forget that his affiliations are with Rap-A-Lot, So when people start to talk about clout and things that can happen to you when you're on tour, you have to consider the social aspect of it, the economic aspect of it. You see, because if you break down Rick Ross's career, it's minuscule when you're talking about Drake's career. So now, what do I mean? I mean, Drake has made way more money than Rick Ross. Well, you might say that doesn't mean anything. Okay, fine and well. Well, what pays for bodyguards? Answer that one. What pays for bodyguards, right? Money pays for bodyguards. So if you're Rick Ross and you're Drake and you're weighing these people on how much of their income can they put toward security, I'm pretty sure that Drake can put a lot more of his income toward security. You see? So when you think about Drake battling Rick Ross, then obviously Drake is going to have way more security than Rick Ross. So translate that to street teams. Translate that to affiliations. Now also consider this. Drake is the only artist to be from another country, come to the United States, and be the number one artist in both countries or both nations or whatnot. Drake is the only artist to do that. And he's the #1 artist in rap. You see? And the teams that he's affiliated with are very respected in the United States. You see? So what does that mean? That means if you go to Canada and you saw what happened to Rick Ross, and you say, okay, so well, if Drake has these affiliations in the United States that offers him a very large amount of protection and respect at the ground levels, then you also have to consider that he must also have that in Canada. You see? So for someone like Rick Ross to go over to Canada with a few bodyguards, if that's, what that was, he had a few bodyguards, that is an underestimation of someone, that's underestimating your opponent. Let me just say that, in the Kendrick Lamar and the Drake beef, now that might be on a more even playing field when it comes to the ground level of things. So that is the thing that we should be worried about, how far that beef goes, or if that beef is even real, because both of those guys are highly paid artists and they have a lot of affiliations. But I'm pretty sure if Drake gives the word and he says you can't tour, you can't perform anywhere in Canada, I'm pretty sure you won't be able to perform in Canada. And I'm pretty positive that no one is willing or wants to do anything to Drake in the United States because of his affiliations. I think Drake is more war ready than most people think. I think Drake is the most underrated artist. I think he is the most underestimated artist. But for some reason, he's able to rise above all of that. And every time he drops an album, it does record-breaking numbers. Drake reminds me of someone like Floyd Mayweather. Now Floyd Mayweather, I remember seeing this video when Floyd Mayweather was talking to a younger Drake, and I heard Drake say, "Yes, sir." I've never heard anybody say "yes, sir" in the presence of Floyd Mayweather. That in itself told me that Drake is a good student. He listens to the people who go or who have went before him and who have been successful, and he knows how to recreate that success, and he's humble. You see? And he's so humble that it gets him underestimated by a lot of people. Because I can't stop asking myself, why would Rick Ross want to offend Drake in the way he offended him, especially when they got some real good records together. The only thing I could think of is that throughout that relationship they had, Rick Ross might have thought that he was the bigger guy, right? Maybe the way that Drake presented himself to Rick Ross led Rick Ross to believe that Drake was soft. I think that's what happens a lot because Drake is more professional than a lot of other guys. You got to remember, Drake came into rap late in his entertainment career. Even though he's the youngest guy, he came into rap late. Why did he come into rap late? Because he was a television star. This man he grew up on Degrassi. So he already knew about the levels of respect you have to have in the entertainment business. He already knew how to perform. This man was seasoned before he even got to rap. And people just think he picked up the rap thing and he was playing around with it. Nah, Drake has been focused on rap ever since he's been a kid. Ever since his mother was probably taking him to the functions that he had to go to. You know, when he had those videos, you see him dancing at his mother's functions and whatnot. He was probably a rapper then. Just like the rest of these guys in the industry that turn out to be the greats. This man probably had a notebook when he was a small kid. And he was listening to rap at a very young age. And he knows a lot about this rap game, more than a lot of these guys out here. I think a lot of people underestimate Drake. Drake knows exactly what he's doing. Here's another thing to add to the equation so you can see so you can reason with me, right? Let's take the Cash Money situation and ask yourself, what did Drake turn that into? Okay, let's go to the past. What did everybody say about Cash Money before we even knew about Drake? People were talking bad about Baby Williams because they were saying that Baby Williams was robbing Hot Boys. So much so that the Hot Boys split up, they left the company, and the only one left was Lil Wayne. The only one left was Lil Wayne. And then what did Lil Wayne do? Lil Wayne grew up and became a man because of Baby. He learned the business. He was a master at his craft. And he took the game over. And he made a lot of money doing it. Now, the books may have not been right? Who knows, the accountants people hire? Who knows the real reason why people don't get paid when you're dealing with that amount of money? Baby Williams is not an accountant. He's not a finance guy. He's an entrepreneur. He knows how to find talent. So when you are messing with that amount of money and your specialty is finding talent and polishing talent, you don't have time to think about all of the money that you're getting. So when people talk about being robbed, this and that, you got to think about the financial team they have in place. That you probably, with the realest business people, they'll never let you know who their financial team is, type thing, because that's inside information. So they'll just take it. They'll just they'll just take one for the team with that. You see? But I say that to say this. Now comes Drake. Now Drake was signed to Young Money, and Young Money was signed to Cash Money. And remember, it's not a guy signed to another guy, signed to another guy, signed to another guy over at Cash Money. No, people got the game messed up. Cash Money has been a standalone company since the beginning. They got the best deal from Universal Records. Universal Records cuts them a check, and then they go do what they can with the check and bring the money back to Universal Records, and then they get the next check. You see? It's not a joint venture deal. It's not a subsidiary deal. It's a fund my company deal. It's a loan deal. You see? That's the best deal you can have when you're in business. Why? Because it keeps you an independent company. So you have a bigger company financing you, but you get to run your business as if you had your own financing through a bank. So basically, Universal Records, since Cash Money became a major success, the Universal Records relationship has always been a financial relationship. How do you say? Universal Records is the bank for Cash Money. Let's just put it like that. It is not the boss. It is not a partner as far as joint ventures go. You see? Name one company in the business that is like Cash Money. I'll wait. I just said it. Rock Nation. You see? But when did Rock Nation become Rock Nation? That was 2007, I believe. Cash Money has been in the business since the early 90s. Or I'm going to say not early 90s, maybe mid 90s, somewhere around there. Right? So it's not a guy signed to another guy signed to another guy. No. Here's the relationship. You got a major label, and then the major label but buys another company, and that company becomes a subsidiary, right? So now let's look at Universal and Def Jam. Okay, let's look at that relationship. Look at all the artists signed to Def Jam. Look, so that means all those artists are signed to Universal by way of Def Jam, right? So Def Jam, the biggest hip hop label, does not even have a better deal than Cash Money. You see? The greatest hip hop label in the business, Def Jam, does not have a better deal than Cash Money. Now imagine if all of these artists on Def Jam went and did business with Cash Money. Yeah, they would probably have to bring some real finance guys in to manage the books. But these rappers will be way better paid. Why? Because Cash Money has been a standalone company since its inception. Baby Williams and Slim Williams are not the type of guys, at least they have not shown yet, to build a business and sell it. No, they build a business to live off of. It's about generational wealth for them. It's not about selling the business once it becomes successful. No, they're in it for the long haul, to stay independent. It's to have a job and not have to answer to a boss. You're your own boss. So when you talk about Drake being signed to Young Money, it's the same relationship as Drake being signed to a major company that only has one partner. It's not even a subsidiary. It's not a joint venture. So what does that actually mean? It means Drake is only signed to two companies. He's signed to Young Money and he's signed to Cash Money. That's it. You see? Cash Money has the most control in this rap game because of the deal they got with Universal, and then they never let Universal down. So it's been running a very long time, you see? So when people talk about this situation with Drake and Kendrick, Drake came into Cash Money, made good money with Cash Money, and was able to build OVO, October's very own. And you see, Drake is one of the most highly paid rappers in this generation. So how could Baby Williams and Slim Williams not be paying people if Drake is able to come from Canada, sign with them, and when it's time to cash out, he's on top of the rap game as far as income, as far as the work he put out, as far as clout, and all of that. Thank you for watching this video. Help this channel grow by sharing, liking, and subscribing. Also, follow us on X, at Consider This AMC.